Hi, I'm Carsten Utoft Niemann. I'm a medical doctor originally from Denmark, now living in Brasilia, Brazil. I'm a physician researcher, having a research group in Denmark, and at the same time working here in Brasilia, Brazil, together with colleagues building a clinical trial unit here. The reason I went to Brazil was due to a position of my wife as a diplomat here, but it has given me a great opportunity to explore adventures and learn about the different culture, especially in the health sector and for research. At the same time, I want to emphasize that it's still possible, and maybe even more clearly after the COVID pandemic, to work distantly in two continents. So I'm still 50% of my work time leading my research group in Denmark, focusing on big data in hematology. So we are developing different machine learning algorithms to identify patients with specific treatment needs and using these algorithms to design clinical trials going forward. This work has emphasized for me the major difference, I believe, between the Danish health system and the health system here in Brazil. In Denmark, it's mandatory to report all results, all laboratory results, and all data from hospitals, all hospitals in Denmark, in a standardized format. And these data are actually captured within the Danish health registries, and it's possible to extract these data both for quality assessment and benchmarking of the different hospitals and the treatment developments that we provide, but also for research. My experience here in Brazil is that the level of clinical care and the options actually to include patients in clinical trials at the institutions that participate in clinical trials, and the level of patient care here in the private sector is at the same level as in Denmark. But due to the more fragmented health system and the division between the public and the private health sector, it's very hard to collect data for research and quality assessment. It has been a great experience for me during the last year here in Brazil to travel and meet with colleagues across the country and to have inspiring discussions on how to establish research collaborations, how to attract more clinical trials here, and how to develop the data infrastructure and the laboratory infrastructure here for more research and for implementation of the research findings into the clinic. For me, also the stay here have given me great opportunities to both visit the public health sector and the private health sector here, and to see this interaction between academic development and training within the public health system, and at the same time the higher options or better options for treatment within the private sector. Looking at this compared to Denmark, obviously Denmark being a very small country, it seems that it takes longer time often to implement new research findings here due to the more diverse and fragmented health system. And this is really something where I would like in my next 3 years here in Brazil to work jointly with colleagues here to implement standards for laboratory diagnostic workup and implementation of clinical trial findings into clinical practice. Looking at the option for collaborations between Europe and Brazil and other Latin American countries going forward, I think we are at a time point now where it's much easier to establish these collaborations, to invite colleagues. And one example of this, we are currently working to create a workshop, a 2-day workshop together with the European Research Initiative on CLL, ERIC, here in Europe, and then my Brazilian colleagues here in Brasilia and the rest of Brazil. And this is ways of attracting attendance to what we are doing in Europe, but on the other hand, also to engaging Brazilian research colleagues into these collaborations. And I'm looking very much forward to this. The options for collaborations also extend to travel grants from Denmark and Europe. And currently I'm on the board of the Danish Data Science Academy, which offers grants for traveling and for initiation of collaborations between foreign researchers and Danish data scientists. So I would definitely encourage all Brazilian and Latin American collaborators and researchers to look out for such initiatives across Europe, where you have the option to engage closely and also better learn about the options for collaborations and grants. To do this, it's very important from my perspective to use your network. That's actually how I established my collaboration here in Brasilia, by looking into publications from fellow researchers here in the area that I'm interested in and reaching out to them by email. And I would strongly encourage you to do the same. It was also my experience from a previous stay in the United States, that using your current network to look for collaborators or even just for peer researchers within neighboring research areas in the area where you want to move will allow you to much better get an understanding of which options you might have. So summing up, I'm very happy to be here in Brasilia, and in Brazil, I think the option to interact and collaborate with research colleagues and research physicians here has been excellent, and I'm looking much forward to establish further and closer collaborations across the Atlantic during the next few years.